Welcome back. Will Robinson here from Robinson's Auto, toolsandtime.com. Today in the shop we have this 2013 Ford Focus SE Flex Fuel. I'm going to be taking you back like 2 months ago when I first initially started troubleshooting this vehicle. I got the request from a friend of mine that buys and sells cars that most times have been in a collision. On this particular vehicle, he had to do a little bit more than just collision work. After he got it, he realized that there was a board or something from the accident that somehow ended up behind the fuse box. When it got behind the fuse box, it shorted everything out. The fuse box had then melted down, taken out the harness that shorted out, and just continued on its way. In addition, it melted down the battery. So this was a severe short that had no line of protection until all the potential energy was just wasted. So, got another harness from another vehicle that was a non-flex fuel, and he said everything was plug and play and it went relatively smooth. However, he said that the vehicle would start, but as soon as he would touch the accelerator pedal, it would automatically throw an engine fault and say service now. And that would come up on the instrument cluster. At that point, it would disable any acceleration. Would not come off of idle. So once I arrived on site, I verified his concerns. Vehicle started. Running a little bit rough, but that's not our concern at the moment. And I wanted to verify what happens when I hit the accelerator pedal. As you can see, it goes right into the engine fault. No matter what I do with the accelerator pedal, it does nothing. And it was exactly as he described. So I went right for the Ford IDS software, just in case I had to do some relearning, reprogramming, or whatnot. I could really dig in and try to communicate with all the modules that could have potentially been damaged during this event. I usually don't use this type of scan tool for the DIY videos because I know most likely you're not going to have it. However, it was very educational and I learned a lot from this experience, so I wanted to share it with you. So as you've seen, we're hooked up to the vehicle, firing up the IDS now. Focus 2.0 automatic, yes. 83,000 miles, correct. Okay. Before I go much further, things gonna drive me crazy. So we're just gonna flop this latch, let it make believe that the door is closed. Okay, I really should have a screen recorder. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go into a self-test. And we own all DTCs. Drinks or anything?
I have water.
Well, and as you can see at this point, this thing is just loaded with codes. Lost communication with ECM, PCM, and the list just goes on and on and on. That's because the harness was taken off and the ECM is most likely unplugged or communication lost, which is just way too many to go through. So what I'm going to do is actually clear the codes. Hopefully we didn't fry any drivers in this. ECM is my main concern. Actually, for now, let's just focus on the engine. And so as you can see, the code stored in the ECM permanent codes is ignition coil C, primary circuit, and an O2 heater circuit, bank 1. It did have a slight misfire when I first started up, but that misfire shouldn't be disabling. Let's just take a peek at that real quick. Primary circuit, ignition coil C. I'm just gonna try something here. I'm gonna take a visual of this harness. A, B, C. That misfire has went away. What the heck? Well, they did replace the harness on there, so it could have been just a bad connection. All right, Tanner, step on the gas. Okay, engine fault just came on. We know we took care of the misfire. It's no longer misfiring. That's obvious. So I know I created another misfire on B, so that's probably going to be a new permanent code. However, right now in the continuous memory, we have a P060D and a 2127. This is what's going to be our main focus at this point. The P060D is an internal control module accelerator pedal position performance. P2127 is throttle pedal position sensor switch E circuit low input. So they're both related to the throttle pedal, to the accelerator pedal. Okay guys, so this is where I started honing in on the problem. When I was out in the field, I didn't have to worry about that misfire. However, I'm glad we got that out of the way right away, so we know that's not what's putting it into the engine fault condition. And we have two continuous monitors remaining, and they're both related to the accelerator pedal, the throttle pedal position. So you got PP1 and you got PP2. So there's pretty much two potentiometers on this accelerator pedal. There's no cables. It's what they call essentially a drive-by-wire. Everything's electronic. So what the ECM is looking for is these two references, and if one of these references gets out of spec or varies from one another, then it's going to create this condition that we're having right now, and it's going to completely disable because it doesn't want it running away. It's a safety feature that's built into these, but that's besides the point. We got to see why it's throwing this code, and luckily we can get in there and we can monitor all those position sensors, pretty much all those potentiometers. So we want to monitor APP1 and APP2 for certain, accelerator pedal position 1 and accelerator pedal position 2. APP1 and APP2. Give it gas. Let it off. Give it gas. Let it off. Pump it a bunch of times. Pedal pumper. As you can see, APP1 is working fine. APP2, we have absolutely no response from it. All right, hold up. Okay. I just want to monitor APP1. Give it gas and punch time, pedal pumper. That's looking good. That's APP1, okay guys? All right. APP2. Give it gas. Pump it. Absolutely nothing. So essentially, when a 2127 is thrown, the vehicle is saying, hey, one of these signals is not driving with the other. There is a difference, a known captured difference in this continuous monitor. It's either dropping out, it's not moving. In this case, it's flatlined, and this other signal is up here moving along with the accelerator pedal. The computer's smart enough to say, hey, buddy, I'm going to shut you down because I don't want you running away and potentially risking your life and others on the road. So it's seeing a known condition and saying, no, this is not allowed. I'm throwing an engine fault. I'm disabling your acceleration. End of story. So it pretty much forces that condition onto your vehicle. So it was at this point I knew I had to start focusing in on this pedal position. So I tried getting online. My software versions of Mitchell and all that are on my desktop. This is a newer laptop that I'm using, and I don't have any software on it, so I was relying on my subscriptions. And I was having trouble logging in, and that's when I reached out to Technician B. We've been in contact, so through text I said, man, this is going to be a late night. Explained my symptoms, and I told him I'm having trouble locating a wiring schematic, and I would like to see this circuit. Within a short time, after discussing a few things, he sent me this circuit. Then he also looked up the location of the PCM for me and realized that it's located in the left front wheel well. And that's when I also realized it's right at the point of impact. This PCM had been potentially compromised during the collision. Not only from the collision, but also from the fire, the harness melting down. So there was so many potentials adding up that could have led us in many directions, and it was going to take a little longer to troubleshoot this. So now it's getting pretty late, and we essentially narrowed it down to one of three things, or maybe even two or three things. You got the accelerator pedal, that's got the potentiometers in it, the reference signals. Would that potentially be an issue? I guess, yeah, that could cause it. That could cause this code. That could cause a loss of signal. Let's say if there was something wrong with that accelerator pedal. Wire harness, that's a very likely scenario because it's been replaced. It also melted down. Who knows what else is going on there. And then we have the PCM thrown into the mix because it's at the point of impact. Not only was it at the point of impact, it was also hooked up to that harness that melted down. So there could be drivers. There could be many things that are damaged during this scenario. So, with that being said, it's pouring rain, and I got to start my troubleshooting somewhere. We have the schematic, we have a direction we could go. However, do I want to lay in a puddle at 11 o'clock at night? At this point, it's probably closer to midnight. It's going to take a little additional troubleshooting. You got some options. I could come back another day when time allows, or you can have it towed down to my shop, and I'll be more than happy to bring it in. And that's where we are today. I took you through all this troubleshooting. However, what I didn't tell you is that I've been in contact through a group chat with Technician B. In addition, another Technician C joined in. Pretty much gave a complete recap to the group. Confirmed everything once again. Same exact state. Nothing has changed, even though one thing has been worked on. Technician B says, get your scope ready. We're going to do some testing. Short time goes by. I'm preparing everything in the field. I'm opening up, removing the left front wheel, removing the guard, pulling the PCM down, starting to get my scope ready. And I proceed on to the office and I start pulling up a schematic. In that short time, Technician C joins in and says, what's your next step? That's a good question. So there I sat staring at my phone, asking myself, what is my next step? That's a great way to teach, by the way. So he had been already on his laptop, getting ready, probably eating popcorn, looking up the schematics. As soon as I gave him one little excuse, bam, bam, bam. Here's your map. What's your next step? Okay, so we started focusing in on the accelerator pedal, and as you can see now with the schematic up is your two potentiometers, I guess you could call them. So it's going to have two references, and what we also confirmed here is that it's two separate 5-volt references as well. So APP1 signal, APP reference, so that's your 5-volt reference going out, which is your green and orange, and then you have your return, which is violet and green, makes up this APP1. APP2, we have our signal wire, which is blue with white. We have our return, which is yellow and green, and we have a reference, which is blue and gray. So our blue and gray being our reference, 5 volts. Yellow and green would be our return, essentially the ground. And then our reference wire, our signal wire coming back that we don't have showing up on our scan data. So where are we losing this communication at? Do I have this reference down at the PCM? Do I have everything needed at the accelerator pedal at PP1 and PP2 to even give that information that the PCM is looking for? Here we also have a pinout schematic, so I can unplug, or we could look at the harness, the connector, and we could determine what pins are what by looking at this pinout. And if you look close by the PCM, you'll see that our APP1 is pin 52, and so on. APP2 is 26, and everything has a number correlated with that conductor, which you could then look at the pinout and determine where to start. In addition, he also sent the pinout for the accelerator pedal along with all the wires of the same color and pretty much their definitions as well, and what their jobs are in that circuit. So this is where that little cliffhanger comes in, and you guys get mad at me. No, I hope you don't, because I'm just trying to be interactive with this video, because there was a lot of interaction taking place and I truly enjoyed it, and I learned a lot from this experience. And it was something, was it self-inflicted? Was it not self-inflicted? Was it because of the accident? There was a lot of questions, and we had to narrow it down to confirm what was causing that P2127. We could have simply gone and thrown parts at it, maybe got a fix, but maybe not. So what would you do with all this information, with the schematic, essentially your roadmap? What would you do next? You got your schematic, you got your pinouts. What would you do next to confirm what's causing the P2127? That loss of signal. Now it's up to you. Let me know in the comments below, and I look forward to reading your feedback. And as always, guys, I appreciate your time, effort, and support to this channel. Until next time, stay tuned. I won't leave you hanging long on this one, so no worries.